in sovereign, autonomous equilibrium between good and evil, and be able to go this way or that way. Augustine regards that as the disintegration of the will. Freedom is when we are so ravished in the truth that our minds perceive it wholly for what it is, and our delights and affections embrace it so wholly for what it is, there is no choice left. That's freedom. That's heaven. That's where we're going. To argue that we should all try to cultivate a philosophy and a theology which will help people stand in sovereign, autonomous equilibrium with their supposed free will between good and evil, as though that is a noble human thing, let us say it is simply not Augustinian. You can draw your own judgments about whether it's biblical or not, and you should right now simply say, if you have any doubts about this, he's not quoting much Scripture. And that's right, I'm not. I'm giving you this man's great vision. I have written a few things about the Scriptures to try to give grounding to these things, but Augustine does well. So, life's quest, what is it? What's life all about now? If this is grace, if this is the sovereignty of grace flowing through sovereign joy, liberating us from the power of alternative gods and pleasures, what is life all about? This is his answer, quote, "The whole life of a good Christian is a holy desire." The whole life of a good Christian is a holy desire. The key to Christian living is passion, desire, hunger, longing. One of the reasons these things are incomprehensible in our churches is that our people have so shriveled in their capacity to feel desire that a talk like this absolutely makes no sense. It's a foreign language. Listen to the way he describes it. It was true in his own day, so don't feel hopeless about the 20th century or 21st. He said, "The soul of men shall hope under the shadow of thy wings. They shall be made drunk with the fullness of thy house and of the torrents of thy pleasures." This is Augustine. "The torrents of thy pleasures thou wilt give them to drink. For in thee is the fountain of life, and in thy light do we see light. Give me," this is still a quote, "give me a man in love. He knows what I mean. Give me one who yearns. Give me one who's hungry. Give me one far away in the desert who's thirsty and sighs for the spring of the eternal country. Give me that sort of man. He knows what I mean. But if I speak to cold men, he just does not know what I am talking about." The remedy for this condition of cold men, cold Reformed men, or cold Arminian men or women, is number one, prayer and an utter dependence upon God, and two, displaying God Himself more infinitely desirable than all other things in creation to our people. It is not an accident that every sentence in this book is addressed to God. This is a prayer. Did you know that? The confessions are a prayer. Every sentence is to you, O Lord. 350 pages of prayer. He told his autobiography to God. Why? It stands on almost every page. I am utterly dependent in everything on you. That's what this book symbolizes. It is a prayer because he is totally and utterly dependent on God for the joy which will liberate him from the bondage of sex, which was his downfall until he was 32 years old. His mother, of course, is famous for praying for him when he wasn't praying for himself. O Lord, that I may love you freely, for I can find nothing more precious. Turn not away your face from me, that I may find what I seek. Turn not aside in your anger from your servant, lest in seeking you I run towards something else. You see, I just feel this so deeply, don't you? I get up in the morning and there is in me prone to wander. Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love. And therefore, what do? You cry out in prayer, don't let me go. Don't let television get the upper hand. Don't let food get the upper hand. Don't let sex get the upper hand. Bind me to you, O God, with a sovereign joy. Anything else is legalism. There are a lot of bound up people in the world preaching. A lot of bound up Reformed people getting a lot of bound up Reformed Calvinist laymen because they don't understand that the bondage is released by a sovereign joy which overcomes everything else. And the last thing I said was displaying God. This is a challenge to us, brothers. A challenge. Do you want souls? You want conversions? I mean real conversions. Listen to Augustine. If you delight in souls, love them in God. Draw as many with you to Him as you can. You yourself, O God, are their joy. Happiness is to rejoice in you and for you and because of you. This is true happiness, and there is no other. The only evangelist who's going to produce this kind of Christian is an evangelist who loves God like this and then loves people in God. So we got to find words, brothers. And let me read you some words from Augustine. I don't have a pastor except my staff who pastors me and loves me. But there's no older man that I can go to, and I'm the oldest guy on the staff. Now, didn't used to be. I'm 3 days older than David Livingston. So I go to David, and we have a good brotherly relationship. I have to go to these guys. Augustine, Edwards, Luther, Calvin. I have to. Because the stuff that's being written about God, by and large today, doesn't come near to what I'm about to read you. So listen, this is what we have to do. What do I love when I love my God? Not the sweet melody of harmony and song, not the fragrance of flowers, perfumes, and spices, not manna or honey, not limbs such as the body delights to embrace. It is not these that I love when I love my God. And yet, when I love Him, it is true that I love a light of a certain kind, a voice, a perfume, a food, an embrace. But they are of the kind that I love in my inner self when my soul is bathed in light that is not bound by space. When it listens to the sound that never dies away. when it breathes the fragrance that is not borne away on the wind, when it tastes